The city of Green City was a relentless symphony of ambition, its skyline a jagged monument to commerce and power. Yet, for Chen Qingchuan, CEO of the colossal Tianlai Group, the noise and the grandeur were merely a backdrop to a far more profound, almost sacred pilgrimage. He stood on a forgotten street corner, the scent of exhaust fumes and stale rain battling a far more potent, almost sacred aroma, the rich, savory steam of slow-cooked broth. He had returned not for a business deal, but for a memory, a single humble establishment known as the Noodle Shop of Second Chances. "President, are you certain this is the place?" Secretary Su's voice was a low, professional murmur, a stark contrast to the cacophony of the street. Su, a man whose life was measured in quarterly reports and stock valuations, could not fathom the gravity of this dilapidated storefront. Qingchuan didn't turn. His gaze was fixed on the faded hand-painted sign, "Noodles of the Heart." The sign was peeling, but the words held the weight of a life saved. "Absolutely certain, Su. If it weren't for a single bowl of noodles served within those walls, I wouldn't be the man I am today. That shop is the foundation of everything I've built." Later that evening, in the sterile silence of his penthouse suite, Qingchuan held a worn, creased photograph. It was a picture of a younger woman, his mother, Chan Huizhen, standing proudly beside the shop's original sign. He remembered the day decades ago, when he was just a boy, small and terrified, his own mother having just passed away, leaving him utterly alone in the world. He had wandered into Huizhen's shop, not for food, but for a brief respite from the cold. Huizhen, sensing his profound, silent grief, had simply placed a bowl of noodles before him. "Eat this," she had commanded, her voice firm but gentle. He had devoured it, the warmth spreading through his starved body and soul. When he tried to pay, she had shaken her head. "Slow down, child. No one is going to take your food. In the future, when you see this sign, remember this is your home. Understand?" That moment, that single selfless act of grace, had been the turning point. It had taught him that kindness is the only currency that truly appreciates, a principle he had carried into the cutthroat world of business, often to the bewilderment of his peers. He had made his fortune, but he had never forgotten the debt he owed to the woman who had given him a second chance at life. Chen Huizhen's life was a quiet testament to resilience. Widowed young, she had poured her grief and her meager savings into the shop, not just as a means of survival, but as a sanctuary. Her philosophy was simple: feed the hungry, clothe the cold, and never turn away true desperation. For years, she had offered her Noodles of the Heart free of charge to those in genuine need, a private charity funded by her own hard work and the occasional, anonymous donation from a grateful former recipient, unbeknownst to her, her own son, Qingchuan. The system worked until the day Cui Cui arrived. Cui Cui was a woman whose desperation was palpable, clutching a small, feverish child. Huizhen had seen the truth in her eyes and had sustained them for months, even helping to organize small fundraisers for the child's medical bills. But the nature of charity is often tested by the nature of man. Cui Cui's gratitude, once genuine, began to curdle into entitlement. The trickle of those seeking free meals became a stream, and then a flood, all directed by Cui Cui, who had become the self-appointed gatekeeper of Huizhen's generosity. One morning, Cui Cui arrived with a dozen others, all claiming the same desperate circumstances. "Auntie," she announced, her tone now demanding, "your sign says, 'free noodles.' It doesn't say who can eat them. We're all in the same boat, patients in need." Huizhen felt a profound sorrow. She had always known her charity was a stopgap, a temporary shelter, not a solution to systemic poverty. "Cui Cui, you know this Noodles of the Heart is only for emergencies. It can't solve long-term hardship." Cui Cui's face hardened, the mask of gratitude replaced by one of calculated aggression. "If you set yourself up as Noodles of the Heart, you have to be ready to help always. Otherwise, you're just a hypocrite." The words were a physical blow, not because they were true, but because they represented the death of an ideal. Huizhen felt a deep, aching sadness. She had given so much, only to have her motives twisted and her kindness weaponized. She remembered the last 3 months, the endless hours, the dwindling savings. I treated you all like my own children, Hui Zhen whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of her disappointment. Stop acting so superior, Chui Chui sneered, her voice rising to incite the crowd. Isn't it all your fault for having only one son? You want us to take care of you in your old age. The cruelty was staggering. Hui Zhen felt a cold dread settle in her stomach. The free meals had stopped being an act of charity and had become a tool of coercion. Desperate to maintain some semblance of control and cover her rising costs, she made a small, fatal mistake. Fine, Hui Zhen conceded, her voice weary. The noodles are free. But from today, each set of disposable cutlery will cost 1 yuan. The crowd erupted in manufactured outrage. 1 yuan for broken chopsticks? You've gone mad with greed. It's to prevent waste, Hui Zhen explained, her dignity intact despite the barrage of insults. And to comply with health regulations. Nonsense. You just want our money. Chui Chui spat, her eyes blazing with a predatory fire. You look so kind, but you're just a hungry wolf trying to profit from our misery. It serves you right you have no children to care for you. The lie was a vicious twist of the knife, designed to wound her where she was most vulnerable. Hui Zhen stood alone, her small, kind world crumbling around her, the weight of the world's ingratitude pressing down on her shoulders. Unbeknownst to Hui Zhen, the true architect of her misery was Wang Yong, a mid-level manager at the Tianlai Group. Wang Yong, along with his accomplice Lin Kai, had been tasked by Qingchuan to discreetly manage a large charitable donation intended for small, community-focused businesses like Hui Zhen's. Wang Yong, seeing an opportunity for personal gain, had diverted the funds and targeted Hui Zhen's shop. He knew its reputation for charity made it a perfect cover for his embezzlement and a prime target for a hostile takeover. Just put this in the pot quietly, Wang Yong instructed his terrified subordinate. The rest, you don't need to worry about. We just need to discredit Chen Huizhen and divert the donations. The subordinate, a man named Dagua, whose conscience was still faintly alive, hesitated. But Mr. Wang, if President Chen finds out. Wang Yong laughed, a dry, cynical sound. I've investigated. Chen Huizhen is nothing but an indigent widow, no connections, no background. How could she possibly attract the attention of the great President Chen? You just do as I say. The next day, the storm broke. A fake news crew, hired by Wang Yong, descended upon the shop. The reporter, a slick, practiced liar, announced with false gravity. We received a tip that this noodle restaurant, despite its charitable facade, is violating food safety standards, seriously harming consumers' rights. They produced a fabricated report, E. coli, expired ingredients, recycled oil. The crowd, including Chui Chui, turned instantly. The shame and gratitude they had once felt were replaced by a manufactured, self-serving indignation. Disgusting. She looked so honest, but behind the scenes, she was doing this. Huizhen stood paralyzed, her hands clasped tightly, her mind reeling from the injustice. There must be a misunderstanding. My ingredients are the best. The reporter held up a document. Our analysis confirms the presence of Helicobacter pylori in your broth, Ms. Chen. What do you have to say? The humiliation was complete. The police arrived, ordering the shop closed. Huizhen, her spirit crushed, was led away, her small, kind life in ruins. She felt not just the sting of betrayal, but the profound, crushing weight of a world that seemed to punish goodness. Miles away, in the sterile silence of the Tianlai Group headquarters, Chen Qingchuan received the news. The report was brief, clinical, and utterly damning. Noodle shop of the heart closed due to severe health violations. Owner, Chen Huizhen, detained. Qingchuan felt a cold primal rage he hadn't experienced since childhood. This was not just a business failure. It was an attack on the very core of his being. He knew, with an absolute certainty that transcended logic, that his mother was innocent. Secretary Su, prepare the car. We are going to the Noodles of the Heart restaurant. Now. When Qingchuan arrived, the scene was chaos. His mother, the woman who had taught him the meaning of integrity, was being physically restrained by the very people she had fed. Wang Yong, seeing the CEO, tried to feign innocence. "President, we were just maintaining order." Qingchuan ignored him, rushing to Huizhen. "Mother!" he roared, his voice cutting through the noise like a whip. He gently took her in his arms, shielding her from the hostile crowd. "Who did this to you?" "It was him, President," one of the terrified onlookers blurted out, pointing at Wang Yong. "He forced us. He said he would kill us if we didn't cooperate." The truth, ugly and raw, spilled out. The embezzlement, the frame-up, the cruelty. Qingchuan listened, his face a mask of cold fury. He was no longer the magnate. He was the protective son. "You had the audacity to hurt my mother," he said, his voice dangerously low, a sound that promised ruin. Wang Yong, realizing the depth of his mistake, groveled. "President Chen, have mercy. It was a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Qingchuan's eyes flashed. "You humiliated my mother, you framed her, you tried to steal from a charity. Who gave you the courage?" The confrontation ended swiftly. Wang Yong and Lin Kai were arrested for corporate malfeasance and theft. The others, including Cui, were rounded up and brought to a hastily arranged press conference. Qingchuan stood before the assembled media, his presence commanding the room. "This is not about a noodle shop," he began, his voice resonating with authority. "This is about the difference between genuine charity and calculated greed. My mother, Chan Huizhen, has spent her life giving second chances. The individuals who framed her, who used her kindness as a weapon, will face the full extent of the law." He then brought out Cui and Dagua, who, under the weight of their guilt and the threat of exposure, confessed their roles in the public square. The spectacle was a moment of profound moral clarity for the city. But Huizhen, despite her pain, saw only the sick child in the crowd. "Wait, Qingchuan," she whispered, touching her son's arm. "They have a sick child at home. If they are taken away, what will happen to the child?" Qingchuan looked at his mother, the woman who, even in her darkest hour, prioritized compassion. "Mother, they treated you so cruelly." "The child is innocent," she insisted. "The child is always innocent." Qingchuan sighed, a deep, weary sound. "Whatever you decide, mother, I support you." Huizhen turned to Cui, her eyes filled with a sorrowful wisdom. "You brought this upon yourselves. But the child is innocent. Go. Take care of your son. But never forget the cost of your greed. And never return here." The crowd dispersed, humbled and ashamed. The name of Chan Huizhen was cleared, her reputation not just restored, but elevated to the status of a living saint. The magnate had found his roots, and the city had witnessed a true reckoning. The dust settled, but Huizhen refused to leave her small shop. "My memories, half a lifetime of them, are here," she told Qingchuan. "How can I abandon them?" Qingchuan understood. He had restored her honor, but he couldn't fill the void left by her late husband, Song. He decided to intervene in a different way, arranging a meeting for her with a man he had carefully vetted. The meeting was arranged at a quiet park bench. Huizhen, dressed in a simple but elegant outfit Qingchuan had insisted upon, waited nervously. Man approached, his hands calloused, his face kind and honest. He was Zhao Qinghua, a plumber by trade, a man whose life was defined by simple, honest work. "Hello. You must be Ms. Chen." "Yes. I'm Chen Huizhen." "I'm Zhao Qinghua," he said, offering a firm handshake. "I'm a plumber. I clean drains for a company. I make about 4,000 or 5,000 a month. I have a son, but he's married. I'm looking for companionship, someone to share the quiet years with." Huizhen was struck by his directness and his lack of pretense. He saw her, not the media sensation, but the woman. I know my situation is ordinary. I run a small noodle shop, 20 or 30 square meters, for decades." Qinghua smiled, a genuine warm expression that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "If you don't mind, why don't we go to your noodle shop? I love noodles. Their courtship was a quiet, gentle unfolding. There were no grand gestures, only small, honest moments. They walked in the park, sharing stories of their past, the simple tragedies and triumphs that had shaped them. Qingguo fixed a leaky faucet at the shop, his hands competent and sure. Huizhen cooked him simple, delicious meals. One evening, as they sat in the quiet shop after closing, Qingguo looked at her, his eyes serious. Huizhen, I've seen your shop. I've seen your heart. If you think I won't be a burden, then let's get married. I don't need a long courtship. I know what I've found. Huizhen was stunned by the speed and sincerity of his proposal. If you don't want to, that's fine. I do, she whispered, a tear tracing a path down her cheek. I do. They were married quietly, a simple ceremony attended only by Qingchuan and Qingguo's son. It was a union built on mutual respect and the shared understanding that the greatest treasures in life are often the simplest. A few weeks later, Qingguo insisted on buying Huizhen a wedding gift. I didn't have anything special to give you at the wedding, he said, taking her hand. Let's go choose a bracelet. They found themselves in the most exclusive jewelry store in Green City, a place of hushed tones and glittering displays. Huizhen felt acutely uncomfortable, her simple cotton dress a stark contrast to the store's opulence. Miss, Qingguo addressed the saleswoman, I'd like to choose a piece of jewelry for my wife. What do you recommend? The saleswoman, impeccably dressed and radiating disdain, looked them up and down, her eyes lingering on Qingguo's work-worn hands. You don't look like you can afford anything in our store. Please, don't waste my time. We can't even look. Huizhen asked, her voice quiet, but carrying the weight of her recent public humiliation. If you can't afford it, don't look, the woman snapped. If you break something, can you pay for it? Qingguo, his face flushed with humiliation, reached for his wallet. This card holds my life savings, Huizhen. Choose whatever you want. The saleswoman scoffed, a theatrical roll of her eyes. With that meager salary, you can't buy anything here. Every item in our store costs tens of thousands. Do you think your combined savings are enough for a wedding gift? Just then, a familiar voice cut through the tension, a voice that commanded immediate, terrified silence. Who said she can't afford it? Chen Qingchuan, impeccably tailored, strode into the store, followed by Secretary Su. Mother. Uncle Zhao. Qingchuan greeted them warmly. What a coincidence. The saleswoman, recognizing the city's most powerful magnate, nearly fainted, her face draining of color. President Chen. How can I help you? You can start by adjusting your attitude, Qingchuan said, his voice icy, the professional CEO persona fully engaged. This is my mother, Chen Huizhen, and her husband, Zhao Qingguo. The saleswoman's face went white. I apologize. I didn't know. You didn't know, Qingchuan repeated, pulling out a sleek, black card, the supreme black card, reserved only for the world's wealthiest. He didn't hand it over. He simply held it, a silent, devastating symbol of power. My mother and Uncle Zhao will choose whatever they want. And you will treat them with the respect they deserve. The true measure of a person's wealth is not the car they drive or the clothes they wear, but the integrity of their heart. My mother, who runs a humble noodle shop, is the wealthiest person I know. He turned to his mother and her new husband, his expression softening. Mother, Uncle Zhao, choose anything. It's my wedding gift to you. Huizhen smiled, a genuine radiant smile that reached her eyes. She didn't choose the most expensive piece. She chose a simple, elegant jade pendant, a symbol of enduring love and quiet strength. Later, as they left the store, Qingguo looked at Huizhen, his eyes full of love and gratitude. I never imagined I would find someone so much like her, he murmured, referring to his late wife, but also acknowledging the deep, unexpected connection he had found with Huizhen. Mother, Qingchuan asked, how is Uncle Zhao? Huizhen leaned against her son, her heart full. He's honest, Qingchuan. He doesn't look down on me. And he reminds me of your father, Song. We already got the certificate, she added, a mischievous glint in her eye. That fast? Qingchuan laughed. We're not like you young people, with your long courtships, Huizhen said. At our age, if it's right, you just marry. Qingchuan, seeing the genuine happiness in his mother's eyes, knew he had done the right thing. He had not just restored her honor, he had given her a second chance at love, a happy and inspiring ending to a life of quiet sacrifice. The noodle shop of second chances remained open, a beacon of true, unconditional kindness in a city often blinded by greed. Huizhen and Qinghua worked side by side, serving their community, their simple, honest love a powerful testament to the fact that integrity and compassion are the only true measures of wealth. The magnate had found his roots, the widow had found her love, and the city had found its heart. It was a story of redemption, not just for the powerful, but for the quiet, enduring goodness of a woman who believed in the power of a single, heartfelt bowl of noodles.